Okay, welcome everyone. We are recording, so you will be able to catch this replay if there's something that you miss. I'll have it posted on all the social medias later today. I am Tanya Cottrell, and I want to welcome you to our Metabolic Makeover workshop today. I have a lot to go over, and so I'm going to move fairly fast. Feel free to take screenshots as you need. And again, that replay will be up if you missed something. So today, we are going to talk about our metabolic function. We're going to answer the question, do you control your metabolism or does your metabolism control you? Why we, especially here in America, why we need metabolic health awakening, the relationship between health span, biological aging, and metabolic health, and the tools that can slow biological aging and put more life into your years. And that includes getting your metabolic health under control. In addition to going over the doTERRA products that can really help with metabolic healing, I'm going to go over some really, I think, very helpful metabolic health hacks, for lack of a better word, some outside resources that I have found to be tremendously beneficial, just some easy things to incorporate into your day that can make a huge difference in your metabolic well-being. So hang on through the class. Some of those health hacks I'm going to add at the end. So what is preventing you from living your most powerful life? Let's start with that question. Is lack of energy an issue in your life? Maybe just take a little mental inventory on these categories. Is excess weight taking a toll? Are you having mood balance issues? Is your sleep being interfered with? That's both your quantity or your quality of sleep. How about mental clarity? Are you having brain fog at all? Or memory or focus issues? And then stress. Stress is highly related to metabolic health. It goes both ways. Stress affects it, and your metabolic health affects your stress. Which category of these six, just answer this for yourself, which category of these six do you feel like you need the most support and help with in your life right now? It's really important that we start our discussion with what we call at doTERRA the wellness pyramid, okay? Everything comes down to the wellness pyramid. And I want you to know where metabolic health fits in, because this is your whole well-being. This is your whole healthcare, wellness, mind, body, emotions, physical, all of it comes into this wellness pyramid. So at the bottom, you have nutrition and digestion. Then you have movement and metabolism. So right there, where we're talking about metabolic health, it's going to be that second level. But we are going to talk a little bit about how it affects some of the other levels. So nutrition is really important. Digestion is important. Movement, that's a lifestyle aspect. So looking at that very bottom, what are you putting in your mouth? What are you not putting in your mouth? How is your gut health? Are you getting moving every day? And I'm not saying a high cardio workout at the gym if you're not there, just moving. How are you moving? Are you increasing your movement in your day? And then your metabolic health. And then that moves up into rest and managing stress. And then your mental health is tied in there, reducing your toxic load. Informed self-care is when an issue crops up and you need to find some tools, which we're great at doTERRA, our essential oils and mini tools we grab for as needed to address issues. And then proactive medical care is when you are going to the doctor, when you are going to a nutritionist, when you are going to the ER, you know, those kind of needs. Now, in the way we think of things at doTERRA, we are very holistic and wellness minded. We want to have everything ordered in the right order. So many people approach, because we're taught this in our culture, to flip it upside down. The minute we have an issue, we go to that proactive medical care. We're like in urgent care, and there's a time and a place for that. Or we're popping a pill, you know, but we're forgetting those underlying layers. So the whole idea here is, if you're taking care of those lower layers in your wellness, your need for proactive medical care is going to be greatly reduced. So I'm going to start with some testimonials. This is my daughter, Emma. She's 22 years old. And so she is so gracious to let me share her pictures. So Emma has been on a health journey in her young adult life that became very important to her. She was not feeling well, and she was having a lot of biological effects that were also affecting her mental health, and that was affecting her adrenal response. And so what really cropped up for her first was that she began to have panic attacks, and they were coming out of nowhere. Couldn't quite figure out what was going on there. And so I'm so proud of her. She took her health, and she took ownership over her health, and she began to change how she ate, and she began to do some detoxing. And this was late spring, early summer of 2022. And then she began to have some improvements, and she began to actually release some weight as well, but not just that, some detox. She did a lot of detoxing and saw improvements in many areas in her health. And then along came doTERRA's MetaPower system in September of 2022. And she started using that right away and had dramatic results. And that was what really helped her get control of anxiety, of the episodes that she was having. And then her body began to really release even more of the excess inflammation and weight. And so the picture on the left, that was 4 months into her taking ownership over her health, and she cut out caffeine. She cut out sugar for a while. She's reintroduced something. She cut out gluten initially. She's reintroduced some of that on a minor scale, but she eats more whole foods, avoids some of the real bad oils, seed oils, etc. And then she took charge of her metabolic health, and MetaPower really helped her to finally grab that. So I believe this was, let's see, this was 4 months, when she's in the purple over there on the left, after she started focusing on lifestyle. And I think about 1 month after she started on MetaPower. And then on the right, where she's in the black and grayish blue shorts, that was 1 year since the day she realized she really needed to make some changes in her metabolic health. And so that would have been about, trying to think when she started MetaPower, probably about 6 months into MetaPower. That made a dramatic difference for her, the MetaPower did. I'm going to keep moving. This is Alicia Matisse. Elisa is my niece. She's also a wellness advocate on my doTERRA team. We're not biologically related, but so we're not, I'm going to share my testimony too. So this isn't just a genetic predisposition to good results. She is also someone who took ownership over her wellness, and she began her journey of MetaPower in late September of 2022. And so you can see over on the left, these are her 5-month results. And then over on the right, that is her 12-month results. I'm hoping that my little camera gallery here isn't in the way. I'm going to try to scooch it over. Hopefully that's on the recording. You can see her 12-month results just in her face alone, the inflammation dropping and weight releasing. And, when I show you photos, a lot of times people focus on the weight, and that's what we see, which is very motivating, right? But that's not, as you'll learn in this class, that's not our only or primary focus. There's so much more to metabolic wellness, so much underneath the, what we see on the outside that happens in our energy level, our sleep, our mental health, eyesight. I've even heard with hearing, just your blood sugar levels, your cardiovascular health, what your labs look like, all of those things. We have so many testimonials of people sharing profound results way beyond what we see on the scale. And I'm actually not even sharing pounds lost, because I think there's just so much more to measuring metabolic wellness. Now, one thing that can be helpful is a smart scale, because a smart scale can measure a lot of other things. So these are some of my initial results. I began using the doTERRA MetaPower system October 1st. So I took my first pictures in September. That's mid-September. You can see I'm wearing a continuous glucose monitor on my arm. That was, I believe, the first day I was wearing that monitor, and I will tell you a little bit more about that in just a minute. And then I began using the MetaPower system October 1st. And this was 1 month later. my mid-October photos, my mid-November photos, my mid-December photos. So let me tell you about my glucose monitor. So I made a decision because I knew MetaPower was coming out and I wanted to understand it. And I wanted to understand how much the product line alone could do for my body beyond just lifestyle changes. So the decision I made was to wear a glucose monitor for a month. And I wore it for 1 week without starting the MetaPower system. And I did not change my diet or my lifestyle or my movement, my working out. I just did the same. I walk up and down hills in my neighborhood. That's my main thing. I'm not an aggressive exerciser, but that's what I was doing at the time. So I continued doing that and I continued eating the same for 1 week. And then I began the MetaPower system. I used the whole system as directed. And I wore this monitor for 3 more weeks. So for a total of a month, and I want to share my results with you. So, you know what, give me 1 second. I want to make sure you can see this and I don't know. Whoops. Hang on 1 second, you guys. I don't know if my little camera is getting in the way. So, okay, we're going to go back to there. All right, so these are my results. What I did on the left, ignore the right for a minute, I'll explain that in a minute. What I did on the left was I went and picked out, each one of these sections represents a day while I was monitoring. I picked out 3 different days from that month to give you a little sneak peek because I couldn't show you all 30 on the slide. So the first one was September 14th, and this was really early during that week. I had just started monitoring with no changes to anything, and I had not started the MetaPower system. And you can see my glucose, my blood sugar is going up and down, up and down. Most of the time being up above 110, sometimes much higher. And it says I had 4 spikes. Now it calls a spike when it's out of range for what's healthy for my body that it's programmed into it. I spent 5 hours and 20 minutes during those 24 hours out of range. That is those 5 hours and 20 minutes are not good. That is predisposing me to future problems, okay? And not to mention it's aging my cells and it's making me gain weight. 1 week on MetaPower, I noticed a day where I spiked 3 times, but I only spent 1 hour and 14 minutes spiked. So I had a drastic reduction. And then 3.5 weeks on MetaPower, I had my first day with no spikes out of range. Again, I did not change my diet. I did not increase my working out. I only started MetaPower. I had 0 hours and minutes spiked out of range. So if you go over to the slide on the right, this knocked my socks off. When I saw this, I about fell over. So I just took this screenshot from an email that my glucose monitor data reading app sent me. So I used a company called levelshealth.com. And I got my monitor and I paid for their app that reads your data and gives you a lot of insight, which I learned a lot about how my metabolism works uniquely. And it sent me at the end of 1 month this report. Okay, I had week 1. Now, week 1, I did not use MetaPower. Week 2, week 3, and week 4, I did. And as you can see, my results got better and better with time, even though I was using the same products, eating the same, having the same exercise. So at the very top in small letters, can you see where it says you saw a 62% reduction in high glucose events? That floored me. 62% reduction in high glucose events. This is what I learned. MetaPower works. It is really helping me. And the longer I'm on it, the more results I'm having. It compounds. And I didn't even expect that to happen. So it was pretty profound for me. And I believe it will be profound for you if you commit to using it and you commit to that long game, because the results compound over time. So what is metabolic health? Let's establish a few things here. We've got 5 pillars of metabolic health: healthy eating, daily movement, healthy connections, stress management, and smart supplementation. Let's talk about our metabolic health as a population. In the US, only 6.8% of adults have optimal cardiometabolic health. That means we have about 93% of people are having metabolic dysfunction and they need some help. And so I want to ask you, are you in the 6.8% or the 93%? You might not know, so take your best guess. Testing your glucose would tell you, but I think most of us kind of know underneath where we are. And I could not have said confidently I was in that 6.8%. I am really grateful that I am headed the right direction now. So metabolic health and biological age are inseparable. What is biological age? That's different than your numerical age. So if you're 45, your biological age, if you're in really good health, might be 40, might be 36. If you're in poor health, your biological age might be 50, 55, 60. Okay. When a smart scale can give you some estimates on this. And I've actually been tracking mine. And when I first measured, my biological age was older than my numerical age. And then I watched it match up. And now I need to check again to see if I'm under, but I'm headed that direction, which makes me really happy because that's about how old does my body seem. So this chart just kind of shows the light blue and the dark blue is with modern medicine, we have increased lifespan over time. But with metabolic support, our goal is to increase health span. And so even if you were to live the same amount of years, what are those last final chapter years going to be like? Will you have good health? Will you be able to be active and enjoy them? Because just living longer isn't the goal if we're immobile and unable to enjoy doing things with our family, our friends, or loved ones. We want to have optimal health span, not just lifespan. So there is a lifespan, health span gap currently in our population. Health span begins to decline at, guess what, age 25. Why? Because something in your cells called NAD plus steadily starts dropping at the age of 25. When you hit middle age, it dramatically starts to drop. NAD plus is what gives you life. It gives your cells life. The dropping of NAD plus is what ages you, okay? When you have no NAD plus, you're dead. So the more NAD plus your cells are producing, the younger your cells are, the healthier you are, and the better your metabolic health is. And that's going to give you your health span. So NAD plus and the dropping of that is directly connected to the decrease of metabolic function. You know how people say, oh, I'm older and my metabolism is just not what it used to be. Well, that's because of the dropping of NAD plus. And we want to see that slow down, the dropping slow down, and to see production actually increase so we can, this is what's so exciting, actually reverse age ourselves. All right, so what are the obstacles to healthy metabolic health? Maturing fat cells, blood sugar spikes, cellular integrity, and inferior supplements. Let's go through these. So when we look at the MetaPower system, we're going to address these categories. Let's look at maturing fat cells. So adipose fat cells, I want you to think of these like balloons, okay? As you have more adipose fat, your cells expand and get larger, which is what makes our body fat become larger. Now, this could be in your visceral fat or on your organs or your overall body fat. So you don't increase the number of cells, the cells just get bigger. So pulling that adipose fat out of those lipids out of the fat cells will reduce the size of those. And that's what helps us with our body composition. So really excited. I'm really excited about our MetaPower Metabolic Blend. This is an essential oil blend. And they did a lot of testing of a lot of formulas, even with the same oils, just getting the ratios right. And it's pretty amazing when they dialed in this formula at the effect it has on adipose fat cells. So oil blend inhibits fat cell maturation. It also curbs cravings, and it does support, it helps to balance your metabolic health. So it comes in 4 forms. When you get your MetaPower starter kit, you will get all 4 of these forms as your, what we call step 1 is the essential oil blend. And then you get to experiment within these 4 ways of using the oils to decide what's your favorite ways to consume it. The essential oil bottle, the straight oil, you drop into your drinking water in a glass or stainless water bottle, shake it, and you just sip it throughout the day. The capsules on the right have the essential oil in a soft gel that you can just take. That is my preferred way. A lot of people love to drink it in their water, and I do that some as well. And then you have gum and you have beadlets. I love the gum. I chew the gum all day long. However, the gum has 1 drop of oil in it that I'm chewing, whereas the soft gels have a couple of drops of oils in it, so I get more out of that. The beadlets have 1/3 of a drop of oil in it, and they just pop in your mouth and burst in your mouth. So the gum and the beadlets are great to just keep in your purse on the go. The oil is great to drink in your water. The really easy way to take it is just to take a capsule a couple times a day. And so you don't have to use all 4 ways. A lot of people like to use all 4 ways. You might find your favorites, but you have these options, and then you can kind of keep your cells exposed to this essential oil blend throughout the day. So that is step 1 of the MetaPower system. We're going to look at step 2, which addresses the blood sugar spikes. So every time sorry, I whizzed by that slide. Every time your blood sugar spikes, your cells age. That's what you need to know. So that slide you saw briefly go by with an accelerator of a car, it's the point there is that your blood sugar spiking is like you hitting the accelerator and the brakes on your car. And the more you're accelerating and braking abruptly, the more wear and tear you're going to have on your car. It wears your car out. That is what blood sugar spiking and crashing does to your cells. So MetaPower Assist, you guys, I love this capsule. I love it. I have it in my kitchen. I have it in my purse. It goes everywhere with me. This is called MetaPower Assist. It is an herbal capsule that includes mulberry, berberine, and cinnamon, and then a little bit of the oil blend in it as well. This capsule decreases post-meal glucose spikes. It reduces the absorption of simple carbs. It supports healthy blood sugar responses, and it stabilizes energy levels throughout the day. So let's go back up to those first few points, because this is really important. So this is how it works. I'm going to eat my dinner and I want my blood sugar to spike less. I take this capsule. I take 1 capsule with my dinner. I spike less. Simple as that. It keeps my blood sugar spikes less extreme. And I watched this on my monitor and it works. It doesn't mean you won't spike at all. There's a normal level of fluctuation in your blood sugar, but it will lessen the severity of your spike, and it will shorten the duration of your spike, and it will keep your blood glucose levels fluctuating at a more minimal rate. So you have less wear and tear on your cells, and I have less aging, and I have less weight gain. Whenever you eat carbs or sugar or a starch, you want to take this. That's my advice to you. You will not absorb it. It's your carbohydrates, your simple carbohydrates. It's the way it was described to me is it makes your body process a simple carb like a complex carb. Okay, so the directions on the bottle will say to take 1 capsule with your largest meal. That is a good way to start. If you are looking for increased results, then do what I do. Take 1 anytime you're going to eat anything that is a starch or a simple carb or a sugar. So if I eat bread, if I eat something that has sugar in it, if I eat fruit, if I eat a potato, I am taking my assist. That's what has worked for me. So you can take more than 1 a day. That's called super using. doTERRA has explained that to us. And I have actually had a conversation with one of our leading physicians who helped develop this product. And he was like, take it as often as you can if you eat those things, as you can afford it, just take it. The more, the better. I mean, you know, the more consistently you're able to take it when you eat those things, the better. Now, I do not take it in the morning if I eat bacon or I have some almonds, something that's just purely protein, which is what I focus on a lot in the morning, then I won't take one. If I have some hash browns with my breakfast, I'm going to take it. Now, of course, I know I do better when I reduce the amount of simple carbs and sugar. So I do try to refrain, but I was doing that before as well. But I am not completely carb free or sugar free. Like some are. My husband is completely carb and sugar free, and he has had great results eating that way for his body. Great results with MetaPower. He's about 20 pounds down and his skin is clearer. He's doing great. Everyone has a little bit of a different need, I believe, in their eating plan. But taking this when I do eat something that could spike my blood sugar has made a tremendous difference for me. One more tip on this one. The bottle says to take 15 to 20 minutes before you eat. When the products were released and the packaging was created, that's what the science was showing worked best. Since then, some new studies have been done, and I got this from a physician at doTERRA, and he told me personally, and they've discovered that you actually have even better results if you take it when eating, at the time of eating your meal. So I take it right at the time of eating my meal. If I forget, I take it right after. I hope those tips help you. So here there is a QR code. Feel free to take a screenshot. By the way, I just learned, I don't know how I didn't know this, that if you screenshot a QR code, you can do like a, what do they call it? Like a long hold with your finger on that. And supposedly it will open up that QR code. So take a screenshot of this. You can access a free course on MetaPower. If you follow this link, it's on Teachable, and it is fabulous. You can learn from the scientists and doctors who developed it and get more tips on using it. And you can see the research, especially the research on the assist and what it actually does to lessen those blood sugar spikes is astounding. There's some pretty cool research on the adipose fat cells with the oil blend as well. So make sure to check that out. So let's go to our third category here. We're going to look at cellular integrity, and we're going to look at step 3. So that assist was step 2, by the way. We're going to look at step 3 of the MetaPower system. Let's see, we're looking at cellular integrity, and we are going to cover the doTERRA MetaPower Advantage with collagen and NMN. So this is a drink powder sachet. I drink 1 a day. I open my sachet, I put it in water, I either shake or I use a little blender to mix it up, and I just drink it. This is going to promote healthy biological aging and improve your health span. It also improves cognitive function. I have completely noticed this. I will not go without my Advantage drink every day now. This has changed how my brain works. It wakes me up, so I like to take mine in the morning. It has reduced my craving for caffeine. It makes me feel focused and alert. It has taken away the brain fog. I absolutely love how it makes me feel energetically and mentally. That's what I noticed right away. It also supports lean muscle and connective tissue, and it improves skin elasticity and firmness. I have noticed my skin, my face looks younger than it did before I started MetaPower. I noticed that within a few months. I also have noticed, I'm going to go back to my pictures, lean muscle creation without, so I'm going to be very brutally honest here. I'm humble myself and tell you, I did not start lifting weights. I did not start doing any resistance training. That is something that I know is very good for me, but I was taking these pictures. I had not added that into my life. And yet, if you look closely at my stomach, I started to see muscle definition come in, and I was floored. I started to feel stronger. Now, I have had 4 children, and if any of you have had children, you know how it really takes a toll on your core strength. And that is something that I have, that's bothered me for a long time, that I feel like I have lost so much strength in my core, and I feel stronger in my core with even before I started doing any resistance training. any muscle building. And I attribute that to the lean muscle support from the collagen. I also was in a car accident about 6 months into taking MetaPower, and I was told I got rear-ended while I was stopped, and I got rear-ended at 45 miles an hour. And I was told by my chiropractor to prepare to be in a lot of pain the next day. And I wasn't. I didn't have the ligament damage that was predicted. And I attribute that to the wonderful ligament connective tissue support that comes from the collagen that I drink every day. So this collagen is different than any other collagen you've ever seen. I just promise you that. It is 12 times more bioavailable than your leading collagens on the market. It is made of 9 unique collagen types. Most collagens you find, they may have 1, 2, maybe 3 types. We have 9 types in this collagen. And you don't have to order it as a liquid form that's going to be expensive to ship and, just cause a huge carbon footprint. It's powder, it's lightweight, and then you activate it with water on your own. So another QR code here is going to take you to a frequently asked questions page with a lot of information about what makes our collagen different that goes beyond what I can teach you here today. So it is a marine collagen. Why does that matter? Marine, well, you've got collagen that comes from chickens, from poultry, that's very limited in the benefits it can give you. It's mostly going to help you with skin issues. You've got bovine, from cow collagen. It can be beneficial to you for sure. The big problem with bovine is they're unable to find bovine sourcing now that does not have glyphosate contaminants. And that is what it comes from, like Roundup. Okay. It is in cattle, and it is very hard, if not impossible, to get a clean source of bovine collagen now. And so that has been a major problem. Marine collagen, this is a clean collagen. You're not going to have glyphosate. And doTERRA does extensive heavy metal testing to make sure there's no heavy metals. So that is a major issue that can come up in marine sourcing, but they test extensively and they report 0 heavy metals in the collagen. I researched several other brands and they don't publish their test results. Many of them don't even say whether they test for heavy metals. Some will say we test for heavy metal, but they're not saying that they're clean, that the test results come back clear. These are the 9 types. You can take a screenshot if you want to look into these and the bodily function that they affect. It is robust and it is clean, and you're not going to put contaminants in your body when you are using it. So what's in this collagen product? Because it's not just collagen. We've got 12 ingredients here. I'm not, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through all of those. So again, take a screenshot. You can see some very good things like hyaluronic acid, liposomal vitamin C, really good things. But let's zero in beyond the marine collagen on that left-hand column. You can go down and you see NMN, okay? NMN is the key factor here that I believe is really helping me with my brain fog, my mental health, and it's helping with the reverse aging. NMN is a precursor to NAD+. So I'm going to challenge your mind to rewind a little bit to what we talked about earlier. Do you remember what NAD+ does? That is what gives your cells life, energy, and youthfulness. That is what decreases and ages you. So the NMN is going to stimulate your body, and it's a natural source, by the way, not a synthetic. There are synthetics out there, synthetics NAD+ that you can get IV treatments for, and they're bad for you if they're synthetic. This is a natural source of NMN. It will stimulate your cells to start producing NAD+ at a greater quantity. So you're actually reversing that aging process. This is huge. It's a scientific breakthrough that we've even only known for a few years that cells can reverse age. And then you have NADH below that, which also helps to increase NAD+. All right. When you reverse age your cells, you're turning the clock back on your metabolism. So we've covered these 3, and the fact that inferior supplements are a problem, and I've just gone through what superior supplements are. We're going to look back at this wellness pyramid. Again, remember the MetaPower system is going to fit in as a support, your main supportive product supplementation for the yellow category. Add that with some movement, pay attention to your nutrition. That means take your good supplements. I recommend doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality supplements. And whole foods, focus on your gut health. We have great gut health products as well, your microbiome. You've got your bases covered. So much of your wellness issues will resolve when you focus on those as well. And you're going to see that trickle up into your stress coming down and many areas of your health. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that, those base levels, your nutrition and your metabolic health. And I'm going to recommend a book, and this is not related to doTERRA at all, but I find this to be the best supportive tool as you begin your MetaPower journey. And it's this book called The Glucose Revolution by Jessie Inshauspe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name right, but it's a wonderful book. I didn't discover it until a couple of months into using MetaPower, so this did not affect my data results that I showed you, but this is a phenomenal book. It's not an eating plan. You can incorporate this into any eating plan that you are on, but it's glucose hacks that will help you make simple changes as you're eating foods that will help to reduce your spikes. Just like the assist helps you reduce your spikes, these will partner with the assist very well to help you. So I'm just going to show you a couple of them. I do recommend you getting that book. So this is all coming from her. She's the Glucose Goddess on Instagram, and she has these great graphics. Okay, so there's illustrations based on continual glucose monitoring with eating certain foods and making simple choices. So here's the first one: eating a brownie, spiking out of range, and then crashing again. See that? Drinking 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in water before eating the brownie, less spike, same amount of brownie. That's less aging on your cells, less weight gain, gentler on your metabolic health. So here, take a screenshot of this because this is the directive with that. Add vinegar to your day. 1 tablespoon of vinegar, any type of vinegar, diluted in water. I like apple cider vinegar best. It's got great health benefits. And before eating or added to food, so you can put it on salad as well, and it works. The acidic acid in the vinegar takes action. Muscles soak up glucose faster, and the mitochondria burns more fat from that vinegar, which means a smaller glucose spike, and it reduces it up to 30%. Okay, let's go to the next one. Here we've got a slice of chocolate cake. Major spike. By the way, that's where cravings kick in, is after a spike, when you're crashing, you're going to crave. So what are you going to do again? You're either going to crave salt or sugar, and then you're going to spike again, and then you're going to crash again, and then you're going to crave. And this is when we get in that cycle, and we're overeating and we're spiking our glucose, and we end up pre-diabetic and diabetic and gaining weight and all of those things. Massive inflammation in the body. By the way, when I saw my body composition change, that was not just weight. I felt so much inflammation come off my body. It was unreal. My ankles and my feet didn't hurt when I got out of bed and stood up anymore. So really great for pain reduction. Okay, so you eat that chocolate cake. This is eating that same slice of chocolate cake with Greek yogurt. So you're adding a fat and protein. So this is called putting some clothes on your carbs. If you're eating carbs on their own, now what are simple carbs? Bread, corn, couscous, pasta, polenta, rice, tortillas, cake, candy bars, cereal, cookies, crackers, fruit, you get the idea. Okay, combine them with fiber, fat, or protein. So just remember this, I got to put clothes on my carbs, fiber, fat. That doesn't mean go out and eat a bucket of ice cream, but on the occasion that you do have something that's going to spike you, combine it with some fiber, fat, or protein, and take your assist pill, okay? Smaller glucose spike. So avocados work really well for this because it's a really high healthy fat. Butter works, cheese works, cream, Greek yogurt, meat, nuts, seeds. Some of them are like yogurt's going to be a fat and a protein. By the way, these are great hacks you can teach kids. You're not depriving them of food, but you can teach them these things so they can still eat food and be kinder to their metabolic health. So what about eating some pasta and some broccoli? Switching the order makes a huge difference. So if you eat the pasta first and the broccoli second, major spike, major crash. If you eat the broccoli first and the pasta second, less spike. Okay, here's your instructions. Eat your food in the right order. Veggies first, then protein, and fats second. Starches and sugars last. Now, this gets a little hard when you're eating something like pizza. So eat a little salad before you eat your pizza. I've learned really helps me. I've tested some of this. Well, I test it now with how I feel because I'm not monitoring. You can also test it with a finger prick glucose monitor as well. So just think about the order. Retrain your mind when you've got your plate in front of you to hit your veggies first, then your protein or meats and fats, and then do the breads, the sugars. So they do this opposite in the restaurants. Do you notice they bring you the bread first? So try to refrain from eating that, save it. After you get your vegetables and you get some protein and you then go, you can have that little piece of bread or that roll and your dessert. Fiber in the veggies coats the small intestine, and fat and protein slow down gastric emptying. Glucose from the rest of the meal is absorbed to a lesser and smaller extent. The smaller glucose spike by up to 73%. You'll feel fuller longer. You'll curb your cravings. You'll have better hormonal balance, which is directly connected to metabolic function, by the way. It's a hormonal process. Improved fertility, better skin, fewer wrinkles, reduced inflammation, slower aging, reduced risk of disease, all those things that better metabolic health gives us. So here we've got rice, tofu, and broccoli. We're eating it that direction or that in that order: rice, then tofu, then broccoli. Then testing it again, eating the broccoli first, then the tofu, then the rice. See, it's vegetables, protein, then the starch. Major difference. Here we have the relationship between food and water. So drinking or eating your donut and then drinking water versus donut and water together. Notice that it is this person stayed spiked a lot longer when, excuse me, I'm saying that backwards. This person spiked higher when they drank the water with the donut. Okay, I believe this has to do with stomach acid. I don't think I put the information up there, but you want your stomach acid to be non-diluted when you're eating food. It's going to help your metabolic health. So I've been trying to save my water consumption until after I've consumed my food. Here we've got a sweet potato, and a sweet potato that has been cooled in the refrigerator for an hour and then either eaten or reheated and eaten. This is one of my favorite hacks. You can do this with rice, sweet potatoes, any kind of starch. Did you know that cooling it even for an hour makes a big difference on how it's going to spike you? So take a screenshot of this because it's the best. Cool down your starches. After cooking starches, potatoes, rice, etc., cool them down in the fridge for 20 minutes at least. Then eat them, and you can heat them back up. This process creates something called resistant starch. Resistant starch acts like fiber, and you get a smaller glucose spike. So if I'm going to have something with rice, I make a larger batch. I freeze it, or I keep it in my fridge and heat it up the next day. I will make the rice ahead of time a day and reheat it. And I'm going to have less spike involved when I eat that rice. What an easy thing to do. I just picked out a few, you guys. We have so many testimonials on the MetaPower system. So many. These are just 6. I grabbed them from our social media groups where people share. And I love to share them with people because they're inspirational. I have no way on this one short webinar to express to you the amount of positive, amazing metabolic healing people are experiencing. But what I want you to get is you can make some small changes to how you eat, but you can have exponentially better results when you combine that with your MetaPower system. Stay consistent with it. My husband started it and he changed how he was eating as well. And he felt horrible for a month, not because the products were making him horrible, but he really had to detox some stuff and he stuck with it. And then things started to break open. Weight is not always the first thing you notice, but that doesn't mean that it's not coming. Let your body heal in the way it needs to heal. Some people notice their eyesight changing first. Some people notice their mental health changing first. Some people notice their sleep changing first. Be in it for the long game. I have heard many people say between the months of 6 and 10 months into this is where they have their biggest breakthroughs. So I highly encourage you, if you have not started on the MetaPower system, get that starter kit, incorporate it into your life. It is easy to use, and stay consistent with it and let your body go through its process of healing layers and layers of its metabolic health. You are going to be in such a better state a year from today when you do that. So we're about done here. How do you get started with your MetaPower system? You are going to want to get a wholesale ordering link so that you pay the wholesale price. I forgot to pop that price on here. I believe it is $179 at wholesale for that starter kit. And then that gives you a free wholesale shopping account. There are no strings attached. You do not have to be on auto ship or anything. You can set it up on that if you want to earn points back to reduce your cost overall. That's a great thing to do, but you don't have to. It's going to give you a membership ID. When you go to reorder, you log in with that ID. You always will get your products at 25% discounted. You're going to get that wholesale access for free for a year. So how do you get a wholesale link? You're going to reach out to the person who has shared about MetaPower with you. So if that is a wellness advocate in doTERRA, then they can hook you up with a link and you're going to order through them. If it is just another a wholesale customer that loves the product, they have a referral link and they can actually earn 20% back in product dollars on their account they can use to buy their MetaPower. So you get their referral link from them. When you order yours and you have a wholesale membership, you then have a referral link as well. Let me show you that. It's called Refer a Friend, and doTERRA will prompt you with that. If you can also look at that link at the bottom, referral.doterra.me/, and then whatever your member ID is that they give you, that's all you need. You can just send that to friends and they can order their MetaPower through that link. And then you're going to get 20% back in doTERRA dollars. It just banks up in your account and you can just spend it. You can even pay your shipping or taxes with that. So a lot of people are paying for their MetaPower by referring friends. It's a great way to reduce your expense. And then your support person in doTERRA will be whoever their wellness advocate is, and they'll reach out to you and help you along the way. We've got lots of support for you as you get started, and you're not going to be alone. You're going to have a community of people helping you heal your metabolic health. So I hope this class was informative for you, and I hope that it is the tool that you need to take a step into living your most powerful life. Thanks, everyone.